What incredible things happen when you stop settling for a life that looks good on paper and start choosing one that feels alive with the dreams and desires you haven't claimed yet. It's your host, Katie Kay, artist, mentor, entrepreneur, founder of the Creator Code, and mentor for women ready for the best chapter of their life. Are you ready for more? Fuck yes. Let's go, my loves.
Hello, my loves. I am fresh back from an incredible trip to California to spend time with my high-level business mastermind group that I joined 6 months ago, to spend time in person, to unravel, to practice, to rebuild, to grow our sisterhood, to widen the permission field. It was incredible. It was a beautiful trip. I feel expanded. I feel ready. I'm excited for so many things that I have to build and launch and explore over the coming months. And I wasn't going to record today because I thought that I needed more time to rest and integrate. But actually, I'm so alive with excitement and ideas and insight and just juiced up on myself and my own expansion, my own magic, that I wanted to come in and record something really raw with no notes, no preparation, just a little idea that came to me as I was driving home from Pilates this morning, and just see what lands. And it might be messy, it might not, I don't know, I don't really care. I'm just here to offer you my heart and something that I think is going to help. I'm going to share with you 2 small moves and 1 big move that I've made in my life in the last 12 months that has really moved the needle, that has really allowed me to step into this unforgettable fuck yes life. And I know that this is the medicine that you need. And no matter where you are in your journey, whether you're 5 steps ahead of me, 5 steps behind me, or right beside me, I know this is the medicine that you need, and I really want to share these things. And I know there are probably a whole bunch of other things too. It's not like they're the only moves I've made in the last 12 months. I've made so many moves, but these ones just feel like they just need to come through. So I'm going to share them today. And I'm sharing my space today with a little family of tiny little bugs that I believe have taken up residence in one of my plants while I've been away. And I'm sorry if they distract me. They are flying around in my perimeter, and it's quite irritating. And also, I came home to the cooler weather and I have the heater on. When I turn on my air conditioner in my studio, the air hits my beautiful chimes that I have hanging from the ceiling, and they make a little bit of noise. And I hope that it just creates a nice ambience for this episode and that it's not too distracting. So here goes. And what's better, big moves or small moves, when you want to step into something new, when you're in the middle of pivoting, when you're reinventing yourself, when you're stepping into a new way of being, when you want change? What is better, big moves or small moves? I've always said that the small moves add up to the big moves, and that you really can't make big moves if you haven't made small moves. That feels like a very structurally sound, safe insight. But sometimes you can make a big move that changes everything, and then you start putting the small moves in place. So there is no right or wrong. There is no perfect way to change and to grow and to expand. You can do either, you can do both. And you can do it all at once if you want. You can have it all. You're allowed. I give you permission. And so does the universe. So I'm just going to share with you my 2 small moves and my 1 big move. And if you have any questions, if you want to share back, please do. My DMs are always open, or you can comment right here on the episode. So the first small move that I made that I want to share last year was that I was exploring my health, and I saw a naturopath. And we explored a whole bunch of different things over the course of the year, and we're still exploring. I want to find the level of health in my life that makes me feel invincible, that makes me feel like I have the most vitality, the most energy, the most beauty, the most everything that I could possibly have, especially as I'm about to turn 50. That feels really important to me. And so in this journey, she asked me about my habits, and she said to me one day that it probably wasn't the best move to drink coffee on an empty stomach. And I know this. We know, if any of you do this, you know that it's not a good idea, especially as you approach midlife. And so, yeah, I've been doing that for a long time. And I've been telling myself that the reason I do that is because I need the caffeine to help me wake up. Because it takes me a long time and it's hard and I want to stay in bed, and I love bed and I love the cocoon. And most of all, I needed the coffee because I love coffee. Who's with me? Like, coffee is magic, and it's not the caffeine that makes me love it so much. It's actually the taste, and it's the ritual of this beautiful warm drink. And my husband makes incredible coffees, and I have also learnt to make incredible coffees, and it is just part of my morning routine. And she said to me, she managed me so well. She said, I'd like to do a little experiment, and I would like you for 1 month to try eating something first before you have your coffee. And because of the way that she presented it to me, because it wasn't, you're doing this thing wrong and you need to change, because that's the worst. Like, nobody wants to be told that. Because she treated it as an experiment, which feels like a game to me. And because there was no pressure, because she said just 1 month, let's just try it. Of course I said yes. How could I say no to that? She wanted me to try it because she wanted to see if it helped me with my anxiety, with my stress levels. And they honestly weren't that bad at the time. I had done so many things in the previous year to manage myself that I was actually in this really great place. And I knew that I was starting my day with so much more peace. My husband had taken on more of the morning routine for me, which really changed everything, because I was waking up with this peak adrenaline and I knew my cortisol was high. That's just what happens as well. But then when you have so much to do and you wake up and adrenaline's coursing through your veins, then it's obviously going to make your cortisol higher. So I thought I had that handled. And so what this experiment showed me was something completely different. What it showed me was power and a deep understanding of my own body in a way that I hadn't explored before, from a place that I hadn't explored before. So at first I decided that I would get up and have a cup of bone broth and some nuts. I think she said like 5 pecans or 5 macadamia nuts and a cup of bone broth, and then have your coffee. And then if you want to have your breakfast, you can do it later, because I didn't like getting up and immediately cooking my breakfast. And it's funny to think about it now, because my routine has so completely changed that I'm like, wow, did I do that? Okay. And so I did this practice for a month, and then after that, everything changed. And so for this month, I had my bone broth and my nuts, and then I made breakfast and had coffee. Now I get up, boom, breakfast straight away. I go straight to the kitchen. I cook up my eggs and my vegetables, and I have my sauerkraut. And then when I finish that, then I have a coffee. But it took me a while to get to that point, because I had to settle myself into this new routine. And bone broth and a few nuts felt way easier than making my whole breakfast at like 5:30 or 6 a.m. So what I learnt had nothing to do with adrenaline or cortisol. It was all about this other hormone called adenosine, which I had never heard of before. And about a week into the experiment, when I was feeling myself in a completely different way, I was finding that I was waking up and I was fine, and I actually didn't need caffeine at all, that I actually felt really amazing. It just took a little while. It took about half an hour for me to wake up. And I found myself getting up and going to Pilates and having conversations with other women, even being able to be a bit witty, to crack a joke, and to do these things from this place that felt so natural. Like I never could have done that before. I thought I needed my coffee to actually be human. And I'm sure many of you listening are probably thinking the same thing. Yeah, that's me. Like, don't talk to me before I've had coffee. Like, I love those memes because they're so true, that I need to need to wake up properly. And coffee allows me to wake up and to suddenly find my voice and find my words and be myself. What I discovered is that that's absolute bullshit, and that there's a hormone called adenosine, which, wow, I've got 2 of these bugs flying around me right now. I wonder which plant is hosting them. Adenosine is the hormone that keeps us sleepy, and it slowly wears off as we wake up. Now, I went and did this research myself. I didn't know about this, but I was so wowed by the first week of this experiment that I went hunting. And it takes a lot for me to do research. I am not a 1 in human design. I do not have that desire to go and look things up and find things out. I love it when other people tell me or they give me a little clue and then it all kind of falls into place. But I went and researched this because I wanted to know, why is it that it just takes half an hour and I feel fine, and I never knew this before? How is this? What is happening? This hormone adenosine, it needs time to wear off. And for some people, like that, it wears off. My husband wakes up and he's awake. I wake up and it takes me, as I've learnt, about half an hour to properly feel like I'm awake, I'm myself, I can have a conversation, I can teach a class, I can be funny, I can remember things, I can think clearly. About half an hour. And so I found myself then making breakfast first, then having coffee. And I think it's been like 14 months since I started doing this. And what I love about this is that it's empowering. It has empowered me within my own body, because I understand this thing about myself, that for 48 years, I did not know, that I did not believe, that I thought was just some kind of impediment, I guess, something that got in the way for me. Because I wanted to be someone who could just wake up and do all the things and be full of energy. I wanted to be someone who didn't feel like, oh my God, like I need coffee if I'm going to do this other thing. I need to make sure I have this thing is necessary for me to function. Without it, there's this empowerment that I didn't have before. And this small move doesn't actually seem that major, but from the other side, it really feels it. It feels like a step into my body, reclaiming myself, understanding myself, and being able to live more freely within this incredible body that I've been given, and that I want to feel and know and fully embody for the rest of my life. Because I spent so much of my life just thinking I was a head floating around and not really paying that much attention to my body, other than it needed to eat and sleep and, the basic functions. So that's my first small move. And I would love to know if anyone wants to try it. I'm sure many of you are at different stages. Maybe you have coffee first thing. Maybe you know that it's bad and you've been told that it's bad and you've changed that. But I would love to hear from you. If you have anything to share about this, I'd love to hear from you. The second small move, this is even more strange than that one. And look, I've got to give you some context about this one too, because it's going to sound really weird. Oh, bug tried to fly up my nose. No entry. I went to Costa Rica last November. As you know, if you've been listening to my podcast, I've spoken about that experience a few times and shared a few different stories. I've realized as I age that I love those tropical, humid environments. They really treat me well. They treat my skin well. They treat my hair well. They make me feel really good. And I didn't know this. I don't know if it's hormonal or something else, but it feels really good to be in the tropics. And this particular experience in Costa Rica opened me wide up in many, many ways. And I came home at the end of it with a couple of fairly radical decisions, things that I wanted to try. And I'll share with you the 3 of them. There were 3, but I only stuck with one of them. The first one was I wanted to be nude more. I wanted to be naked in my house. I am naked a lot, and I don't have any shame around being naked around my kids, my family, when I'm on my own. I really love it. But, seasonally, I live in a place that has a 6-month cold season. It's really not practical to be naked all the time. So that didn't hold for a long time. And I guess I just fell into old habits. And so that one kind of fell away and didn't feel as significant. The other one was I wanted to eat with my hands more. It feels so visceral, so tactile, so fun, so freeing, so rebellious to eat with your hands. And I did that in Costa Rica. And I came home and did it for a while, and then the fork was there and I started eating with cutlery again. The third one is that I stopped wearing deodorant. And I still have not worn deodorant since November last year. I had changed to natural deodorant maybe 18 months ago. And I kind of hated it. I found that it was sticky. I tried a few different brands. It got on my clothes. It left marks. I liked the smell of it. I loved that it was natural. I loved that it was clean, that it wasn't hurting my body in any way. But I just found it a hassle. And while I was in Costa Rica, I didn't put it on almost the whole time. And I don't know, I felt juicy in my own body. I felt like I was enjoying my own body because of the experiences that we were having more than I normally would. And it's not like I walk around not enjoying my own body. It's just that it unlocked something, that experience unlocked something in me. And so I just didn't put deodorant on for whatever reason. And when I got home, I made a solid decision not to wear it anymore, just to see what would happen. I think I treated it as an experiment for a little while. And what I learned was actually really surprising. About a month in, I noticed myself in a way that I never had before. I didn't know what I smelled like before this. I don't think any of us know what we smell like, because even if we're not perfume wearers, which I haven't been for many years, I can't stand perfume. My sense of smell is so sensitive that I really struggle with any kind of artificial smell. The only smells I can tolerate are real smells, like real life smells, and essential oil. And that's about it. And I'm constantly trying to retrain members of my family to please wear less cologne. Please spray your deodorant in a different room. Please back off on the amount that you're spraying, because it's my home too and I find it really, really difficult. So I learnt what I smell like, and it's pretty nice actually. I think we're sold some lies about our natural smells. They're pheromones, and they are a signal. And they are a radar, and not just for others, but for ourselves. They contain information about us, about how we are, how we're feeling, about our bodies, about our hormones, about our health. And they also connect us to our raw essence. And they connect other people too. And I feel like I know myself better because I know my own smell. And I want to challenge you just to do it for a week and see what happens. Women, and I'm not going to speak for men because I don't know what it's like to be a man. And I've never lived with a man who didn't wear deodorant. So I'm not going to comment on that. But women smell beautiful. Women smell really good. And I eat a clean diet, and I take care of my health, and I exercise regularly. And I smell great. And if I did smell bad, I have no doubt that someone in my family would tell me, or a really close friend would tell me, and then maybe I would look into that. But I can smell myself, and it is not bad. It's not bad at all. And I love this. And this is a small move that may be completely weird to you. But for me, this connection with who I am, with my own essence, with my body, has been really beautiful. And so this one's only been 6 months in, and I'm not saying that I'm never going to wear it again or that this is the end of the line, but this is where I'm at right now. And I really wanted to share with you how this seemingly tiny, strange thing has actually contributed to my personal sense of power, my personal sense of understanding of my body, my body's wisdom, has contributed to the insights that I have about my health. And it's also actually really helped open a pathway between me and my husband as well. And I won't go into more of that now, but I'm sure you can imagine. One big move, and this is probably one of the biggest moves that I've made in my life in the past several years. And that move is that I decided that it was time to do the big, hard, risky thing and step out of my photography business full time. I still have a role in it, as I'm sure I've mentioned on other episodes, and I don't know when the final step will be just yet, and that's okay. But making the move from being the full-time managing director of my business to being a part-time advisor and still having creative input. I still shoot. I shoot mostly past clients at this stage, and I love that, and I don't really want to change that at this stage. That move was huge because that move required a whole lot of small moves to enable me to make the big move. It required foresight, planning, strategy. It required 2 other people to be on board. It required a lot of hard work, and it required a massive amount of motivation, of guts, of devotion, of determination, and of focus on the reason that I was doing that, which is that now I get to step into my new purpose, the work that I realized was waiting for me 6 years ago. And for 5 of those years, I took 2 steps forwards and 2 steps back repeatedly, probably 3 or 4 times, because I couldn't make this big move. And the big move was that I had to draw a line in the sand and step across it. And I know that seems really obvious, but for any of you who have tried to pivot, who have tried to reinvent yourself, who have changed careers, who have bought and sold businesses, started new ones, you'll know that it is never as easy as we want it to be, that it requires a huge amount of work and a lot of inner resolve in order to do that thing. And so the first week of September last year was the first week of me stepping out and stepping away from 5 days a week, 6 days a week, whatever that work took me. But in order to get to there, I had to pour my whole heart, all of my brain, every bit of resolve, every bit of grit that I've ever had to be poured into reconstructing, rebuilding, repositioning so that I could make that move. And that was an incredibly hard 8 months of my life, incredibly hard. Probably 8 of the hardest months I've ever had as a business owner. And I've been running that business now for almost 18 years. And so I've seen a lot of stuff. Like I have ridden some really hardcore roller coasters in that business during that time. And that 8 months before I made that big move was incredibly challenging. But the satisfaction, the excitement, the huge amount of gratitude that I had as I stepped over the threshold into the new chapter was incredible, palpable, unforgettable. It was the biggest fuck yes I've ever given myself. And now from the other side, I can say that move was massive because I could have made that move at any point in the previous 6 years, but I couldn't. I wasn't ready for it. It was too hard. It was too big. Another bug trying to fly up my nose. And so, not wearing deodorant and not having coffee first thing in the morning. Tiny moves that have contributed to my current state of who I am. Stepping out of my full-time role in my photography business into my new life, my new unfolding, my new becoming. Big, big move. Which one has had the most impact? Well, it feels right now that the big move has, and it's easy to say that, but small moves build trust in yourself. They uncover things that you couldn't possibly have seen before. And I think I've made 1,000 small moves in the last 6 years, but maybe only half a dozen big ones. So you decide, you tell me. My question this week for you is, what moves have you been putting off or holding back on? Is it a big one or a small one? My loves, now is the time to move. We are in a portal of action and momentum and new beginnings and forward motion that we have never been in before. I'm talking about the planets. I'm talking about astrology. I'm talking about the current available energy. Can you feel it? I've got chills just talking about it. Now is the time to move. Tell me what move you want to make. Put it in the comments, DM me. I would love to talk about this. I want to help you make the moves. Maybe this episode inspired you. Maybe it triggered something in you that needed to be triggered. But now, this period, for the next 4 to 6 weeks, this is your time to move. This is the time I'm going to make a bunch of moves. I've got incredible stuff coming up. So please share your moves with me. I would love to hear them. Also, I want to remind you that I created a one-on-one offering not so long ago, and I have a few spots left at an introductory special rate that will never be repeated again. And if you're interested in working with me one-on-one to get my eyes on your life, on your business, on your career, on your work, on anything really, I am here for you. My one-on-one space is sacred, it's limited, and it's really truly special for me and for you. So if that sounds juicy and you want to know more, reach out to me on Instagram. Everything's in the show notes so you can easily find where to find me, and I will share the link so you can check out the offer for yourself. And if you're not ready for that, but you want more now, great, I'm here for you. There's the Creator Code free class, which I will share in the show notes so you can jump into that. It's a 50-minute somatic class, which also explains what the Creator Code is. There's so much more coming about that soon, but this one's available for you now for your enjoyment, for your learning, for your embodiment. So you can jump into that anytime. And that's it for this week. I love you all. Bye.